Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Okay, I forget what my intro is. What am I supposed to be saying? Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love everything. Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup, I love all things skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the family. Okay, so y'all, we're just gonna keep it rolling with these first impressions videos. As you saw from like a couple of videos ago, I need to get through my eyeshadow basket of shame, so that is what we're going to do. And I'm also realizing that I forgot to show you all a couple of palettes from that basket of shame. Whoo, the shame. So there's more. But basically, today I'm gonna be doing a first impressions video on the Sigil inspired by Tammy Tenuka Black Glove palette. Before y'all come for me, let me just say this. If you didn't know, Sigil Inspired is a Russian brand, and I actually made all of these purchases prior to everything that's happening with Russia and Ukraine. So this Black Glove palette launched, I want to say like a week before Russia invaded Ukraine, and then shit hit the fan basically. I don't know what, the brand owner's stance is on everything that's going on between the two countries. I don't know if they're allowed to speak on it, to be quite honest, because y'all know Russia is Russia. So I am going to give just sort of my unfiltered review on the products from the perspective of the quality. That being said, I personally don't feel comfortable shopping going forward until everything has been resolved. So this is quite likely going to be my very last purchase until things have figured themselves out. I mean, right now you can't even shop from the brand because there's no shipping through UPS. So it's just way too complicated. I don't feel really comfortable. I'm going to use these products because I paid for them, one, and I have them. But it's going to have to be a bit of a pause for me on this brand until I figure everything out. That being said, I did watch a couple of my friends on this platform who have reviewed the brand, and that's what really got me interested in Tammy Tenuka. Like, it's very hard to understand, the concept behind the brand and the history and everything because the website is in Russian. Everything is in Russian. I don't speak Russian. I don't read Russian. So it was hard for me to really understand like the entirety of the brand, but I had watched a couple of reviews from folks on YouTube who really loved the quality. And I specifically remember Dr. Ash saying that it reminds her of Pat McGrath quality. And that is high praise coming from Dr. Ash, who loves Pat McGrath and who is very well versed in eyeshadow. I was like, okay, well, if she can give Mama Patricia a run for her money, let's try this out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the shadows. I have it in this little Morphe case because, to be honest, I missed the launch. When the palette launched, it was at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I am not the one to stay up to purchase an eyeshadow palette. Not today, not ever. Not at them hours. Maybe 1 o'clock, sure. 3, 4, 5, no thank you. That'll have to wait. So by the time I woke up, the palette had sold out, but I was able to purchase the individual shadows. So I just bought the singles and I put them in this little Morphe palette. So this is basically the palette in my own palette. The shades in the Black Glove palette are quite small, I will say that. I was very surprised and very taken aback. And because I was really interested in trying out the brand, because it's coming from so far, I figured I would pick up a couple other products from Tammy Tenuka just, to get a really good feel, because they don't restock as quickly as, typical brands, and that's standard for all indie brands. And if I'm going to be paying the shipping, I might as well pay one set of shipping. So I also picked up the Peacock palette. This is what it comes in, and this is in the standard pan sizes. So this is what the Peacock palette looks like. And then I picked up the Chinchilla palette. You'll see that all of the ingredients and shade names are in the back in Russian, so I have no idea what any of that says. And this is the color story here. It's a very sort of cool toned purple palette. And then lastly, I picked up the Flaming Gold palette in the mini size. I want you to see how small this is in comparison to the standard size. They were discontinuing the Flaming Gold palette, and because this one was more neutral, I figured I would just buy the mini. But when they said mini, they meant mini. This is small, this is tiny. It is definitely that sort of neutral color story. And let me show you guys all 3 sizes kind of stacked up against each other so you can really understand the options for this brand. Okay, so here we go. Here we have the biggest pan size, and this is pretty much standard eyeshadow sizes, which you'll see in regular eyeshadow palettes. Up top here we have the like a mini size, and then at the bottom we have the super mini. So these are the 3 pan sizes you'll get with this brand. So as I typically do, I'm gonna give you guys swatches of these shades, and then I'm gonna give I'm gonna do 2 looks today because I ain't going nowhere, so it's fine if I have 2 separate eyes. But let me just show this to you guys up close so you can really see those shades. And then I'm gonna try to turn it so you can really see the shifts, especially in that red shade. Okay, let's dive into some swatches. So this does have 2 matte shades. It's this really light beige and this almost like a deep gray. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shimmers. And I believe 2 of them are duochromes or multi-chromes. So here we have the 2 matte shades. Those swatch really nicely. They are a nice mix of powdery and creamy. I don't know how to explain it, but I like how that feels. Here we have the first 3 shimmers, and these are just standard shimmers. Oh, that's pretty. That is really beautiful. Okay, and here we have the last 2 shades. So this is the first one. It is one of those multi-chrome shades, so you can really see that like black red flip. Let me see. And then this is the star of the show. This red shade is wow. I die. And that has a red gold green shift. Let's see. With a black base. So here are the swatches of the Sigil inspired by Tammy Tunuka palette on my medium deep complexion. I really wish you guys could see the flip of this shade. It is so beautiful. It looks like a black, but it's like black, purple, red. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this off and then I'll bring you guys in closer and we'll get started on these 2 looks. Okay, my lids are primed and ready to go. So first things first, I'm gonna go in with this shade here. It is like a gray purple, and I'm gonna use that as my transition shade. Getting good pigmentation, and this is blending out really nice and easy. What I'm realizing is that this builds really nicely, so you can get this to look a little bit more opaque, or you can really diffuse it out. This is lovely. And this is just gonna be like the quickest look of all time. Next, I'm gonna go into the gray shade, and I'm gonna use that as a deepening up shade. So I'm gonna start by, plopping that into the stamping it into the outer corner and then blending that into the transition shade. I'm getting a little bit of fallout here. There is a little bit of kick up with these matte shades too. that blended so easily. And then I'm gonna go straight into the red. I'm gonna use my finger because I just think that it's the easiest way to apply it. Look at that, do you guys see? And I'm just gonna plop that all over the lid. I'm actually gonna go into the Refa number 21 and use that to pack on some of that pigment. And it's picking up quite nicely with the brush. I wish I could get a full size of this shade. Come on. Whoa, whoa. Okay, I'm gonna stop here for a little bit and I'm gonna switch to the next eye. I'm gonna go back in with the first shade, so that light gray purple, and I'm gonna again use that as a transition shade. Then I'm gonna go into the second duochrome shade, and I'm gonna use that as my outer V color. Let's see how that works. I will say all of these shades are picking up quite nicely with a brush, which I appreciate. Not having to go in with your finger is like amazing. I don't know if it's my complexion, but I feel like this second duochrome shade or multi-chrome shade, whatever it is, shows up a lot more like a black, purple black, than a multi-chrome. Like you don't see that strong, like you don't see a shift, do you? Then, I know I said everything works well with the brush, but I'm actually going to go in with my finger into that purple shade, and I'm going to put that into the center of the lid. I was living every word you said. You had gold in your eyes. I could feel you walking through the door. And then I'm going to go into the lighter purple shimmer, and I'm going to put that into the inner third of the eye. Also with my finger. I'm gonna take a Refa number 2 and I'm gonna go back into that light purple shade. And I'm just going to add a little bit more pigment and clean up the edges. Because as you already know, your fingers don't allow you to get really precise. So just getting that nice and clean and taking more pigment and stamping it in. The future is not worth fighting. We'll look to the stars to ride. Then I'm gonna flip the brush over to the clean side. I'm gonna go back into the deep purple shade. So there we go. And I'm gonna plop that again into the middle, just making sure that stays quite prominent. Those two shades blend into each other on their own, just saying. Alright, now let's clean up these eyes. So I'm gonna go back into the black purple multi-chrome shade, picking up a little bit of that pigment, and then just start blending everything together there. And then going back into the lightest shade, that first transition shade for both of these looks, and blending out the tops all the way through. This is a real nice smoky purple look. Okay. We in business. Quickly cleaning off that brush. So I'm taking the brush that had the deep gray shade, and I am just gonna, on this side, blend that red and that gray together so it looks a little bit more seamless. Then going back to the brush that had that first transition shade, also gonna blend the tops, picking up a little bit more of that product. Okay, so this is what the eyes are looking like right now. I do have a little bit of fallout on this side, not really any fallout on this side. So, we'll see, let's see. This easily dusts away. There's no staining or anything, so we're in business. For the waterline, I'm gonna go into the duochrome shade, and I'm gonna put that into the outer part of the eye for both of these eyes. Never went down without a fight. I'ma come home again. Then for this eye, I'm gonna go into the purple shade, that really rich, deeper purple, and I'm gonna put that into the inner half of the eye. I'ma come home again. There's a million things I wanna say. And for this eye, I'm gonna go into the red, using the brush that the Refa number 21 that I had before, and I'm gonna add that to the inner half. I know you got it, 'cause you got it on the nose. You held me down when I was feeling like I know. You ready, God, when the game is all I choose. Okay, this is what the eyes are looking like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and add some liner, add some mascara, and I'll come back and give you guys my final thoughts. Never went down without a fight. I'ma go home again. I'ma go home again. I'ma go home again. If I lose myself by the end of the night, I'ma come home again. I'll fly away, I ain't staying. I'll be okay if I make it there. So far away, it looks like a glare. Okay, so these are the final two looks. I'm quite impressed. I am very, very impressed. Okay, so let's talk about this palette. So like I said, this is the Black Glove palette from Sigil, inspired by Tommy Tanuka. I purchased them as singles because I woke up after everything had launched and I didn't get the actual palette. So I bought everything as singles and I put it in my own little mini palette. I wish that the pan sizes in this were just bigger. I don't even want to say a little bit bigger. I wish they were average pan sizes. This is small. And while it might be good for somebody who doesn't have a large collection and doesn't want to get too much eyeshadow, I just thought that this was too small. And yeah, I mean, like, your brushes could fit into it normal, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's just that these are so good that I kind of want them to be bigger pan sizes because I want more product. There are only two mattes in this palette. This kind of like purple green, and then this purple gray, and then this like regular gray shade. And they are absolutely fabulous. They are very, very pigmented, and they show up really nice on the eyes, and they blend like a dream. They are this weird mix, but like the perfect mix of creamy and powdery. I did get some kick up in the pan, but honestly, it wasn't anything significant. And on the eyes, it just blended really nicely. It felt like creamy, but it was a powder. You know what I mean? Even I don't really know what I mean, but perfection. The star of the show, this red, gold, green shade, like, I want you all to see all of the flips because it's just unbelievable. It has a very wet metallic texture, and I think it applied really nicely. I would love to see this applied with the Mirror Mixing Liquid because I think that I could have honestly gotten a little bit more pigmentation. Actually, let me try something. So I'm picking up a little bit more on my finger, and I'm again tapping it onto the lid. Yeah. This is making it a little bit more vibrant. I think I went in with too little of this shade. And I think that you can add more and increase the vibrancy of this. And like, you can really, really see all of the wonderful, beautiful flips on the finger. This I can imagine looking so much you know, like more pigmented, more vibrant over like a matte black, or different just sort of matte shades to make it pop more. But overall, this has to be one of the best red eyeshadows I've ever had in my collection. And because it has all of those additional flips to it, I think it just makes this perfection. On the purple side though, look at that. Look at that. The one shade that I was a little bit disappointed about on this kind of purple side was this shade here. Like, you can see on the camera that it very clearly looks like a black shade, but it is actually another multi-chrome, and it shifts black purple. But it's so deep that I feel like when I use that in the outer corner and even in my waterline, it really just kind of shows up as a black shade. So you don't get that really multi-dimensional, you know, look to it. So... oh, and I don't think I mentioned this, but the last thing that I did for both of these looks was that I went in with this shade here as the inner corner highlight. So overall, I think the quality of these shadows are spectacular. I created both of these looks in like half the time that it typically takes me to create an eyeshadow look. And I think that they just look really well put together. They look really well done. The pigmentation is out of this world. And it looks like I spent more time on both of these looks than I actually did, which I appreciate. I'm very, very happy about. I am looking forward to playing in the other palettes from Tammy Tenuka that I picked up. And I'm really hopeful that, you know, at some point we can actually start shopping this brand again, because I do think that the quality is there. I do think that it's fabulous. If you don't feel comfortable because of everything that's happening between Ukraine and Russia, I 100% understand. And I know that Tammy has also mentioned on her Instagram page that with the war and all of the sanctions against Russia, like, she has to raise her prices because the Russian currency is pretty much worth nothing at this point. And honestly, with all of the barriers to getting anything shipped out of Russia, the raising prices, I don't think it's worth it right now, to be quite frank. I think that while these shades are top quality, I just don't think you have to go through the rigmarole to get it right now. But if the world... if we return to a world that makes sense, where we are, I don't even know how to say it, but if we are able to get back to a place where we don't have wars, I think that this is a fabulous brand. I think that this is one that is worth picking up and checking out. I know I'm 100% gonna get a ton of use out of this. Red eyeshadow is not one that I have a lot of in my collection, so I don't really get to play in red eyeshadow very much, but it's one of my favorite colors. I'm a Trini. Our flag is red, you know? Fiery. So I'm looking forward to playing in this more, because I really do love how this turned out. And I have 3 more palettes from the brand to try. Anyways, if you were able to pick up this palette, let me know down below if you've tried it out, if you've used it, if you've purchased from Tammy Tenuka before, if you are, you know, slowly waiting for things to go back to normal so that you can buy from the brand. Like, what are your thoughts? And be respectful, because I am not the one and this is not the page. Don't be putting anything disrespectful down in the comments below, because it is not me. Try again. Okay, as always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Share with a friend if you think they like the content. And as always, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye!